Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting MacWhisperer live broadcast. I'm Frank, I'm your host for today, and as always, we are thrilled to have you with us. Especially on this special Tuesday edition of our broadcast, right? We scheduled it early due to the American Thanksgiving holiday later this week, but it's great to be here now with you. So here's the thing, let me ask you. You ever saved a file on your Mac and then completely forgotten where you put it? Or maybe you've been digging through your folders thinking there has to be a better way to organize this. Well, today's session is all about mastering your Mac's Finder, the most essential and often misunderstood tool on your computer. We're diving into how to make the Finder work for you, from customizing the sidebar and organizing folders to understanding different view modes and creating a cleaner, faster file system, period. Whether you're brand new to Mac or have been using it for years, Dylan's going to show you how to unlock the real power of Finder and turn your Mac into an intuitive, organized digital workspace. Stick around for Dylan's MacWhisperer power tip, a sidebar strategy that will totally change the way you navigate your files. You're not going to want to miss that one. And don't forget about your free downloadable resource, today's Finder Smart Guide. It's going to be your step-by-step playbook to take today's tips even further. It's free, and you can download it here. So, a lot of you know the drill. Introduce yourself in the chat. This is a public broadcast today. It's not just for members. So say hello, especially if you're one of our loyal live loungers. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And tell us, what's one folder you wish you could get to faster? Or what's the most cluttered spot on your Mac? Let's make this session interactive, practical, and full of, wait a minute, my Finder can do that? Q&A with Dylan, right? As always, this is your chance to ask Dylan your toughest questions. If you don't mind, put a Q in front of your question. That way we know it is in fact a question. We'll do our best to tackle them throughout the show. But now, let's welcome, you ready? The man who turns Finder frustration into file freedom. Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer.
That was good. Finder freedom, huh? I like it. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the special Tuesday holiday edition of the MacWhisperer Live with Dylan and Frank. I'm really excited to bring you guys in here today. I'm going to start with a little story before we get into anything. I live in Los Angeles. As you know, at the beginning of this year, there were some fires here. A couple of clients of mine lost homes, lost computers, lost stuff. Fortunately, nobody lost a life that I know of, which I'm grateful for. But one of these clients was a PC client. They didn't actually have a Mac. There was a Mac in the household. I was hired to help the father-in-law learn how to use his Mac, but the wife and the husband, they had PCs. Well, when they had to flee, they realized that something I'd been saying from the beginning was right, which is it's really hard to flee with a desktop computer, especially a PC with a big tower and all the cords and all the... So they called me about a couple of weeks ago and they said, Dylan, how hard is it to change to a Mac, and how complicated will it be for us to learn how to use a laptop? And I said, what I tell a lot of people, most of us learned how to drive cars using the stick shift. It's great. You're in complete control. You can go to first gear or second gear or third gear or fourth gear. It's so fun to hit that clutch all the time. And then we all went to automatic cars and everything was easier. That's the PC to Mac difference. It's not a learning curve. It's a, now what do I do with my clutch foot conversation? So as I moved these people from PC to Mac, the first conversation that we crashed into was, how do I find my way around on this system? And the answer is what we're going to be talking about today. The Finder is the key component of learning to use your Mac properly. If you ignore the Finder, if you avoid the Finder, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the Finder, that's your biggest problem. Because once the Finder is clear, there's nothing you can't find. I mean, if you're looking for something, you'll probably find her in the Finder. probably where it's going to be. And so learning how to put things away, how to organize things in the Finder makes everything so much easier. And yet nobody talks about the Finder at all. Look on YouTube. You won't see more than a couple of little videos here and there because it's overlooked. We're not going to overlook it today. And not only are we not going to overlook it today, this is the beginning of a course that I've created that will be released at the end of this week after our 3-day workshop. We'll talk about the workshop in a second. All about how to use your Mac better, whether you're a brand new user of the Mac or you've been on it for a long time. This is going to underscore the value of things like the Finder. And we're going to dig into some of those today. But if you want more, join us for this workshop this weekend. You'll learn a lot. Frank, tell me a little bit about our workshop.
That's all we've been talking about. And what's amazing is it's finally here. Right? It's been months we've been talking about this. The majority of the emails that I'm receiving is, all about the workshop and what's happening. Why don't we bring that up so people that don't know what we're talking about, show them what we're talking about. It's a 3-day workshop starting on this Friday, Black Friday weekend. So it's going to be jam-packed with a lot of giveaways and a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
Some great deals too.
Oh man, there's a lot going on. Aside from everything we're going to learn from you about travel and how to incorporate our Apple devices, we got a ton to give away to our loyal community. So fill us in.
So I was reading in the news today that there's a massive storm front coast to coast in the United States right now that is going to cause all sorts of havoc and chaos with travel. And all I could think while I read this newspaper article was, I can help. Now, I can't help with the storm issue. That's not something I can do, but people are going to be trapped inside of airports. They're going to be stuck. There's going to be delays. Their devices are going to run out of electricity because they weren't planning ahead. I got all that stuff nailed down. We're going to talk about it this weekend. I'm going to show you what to do before you leave on a trip, while you're on a trip, and when you get back. And you're going to want to be a part of the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday series because they're all going to interlink together so that the next time you travel, it's easier than it's ever been from beginning to end and beyond. That's the workshop. We'll be talking a little bit more about it later, but if you are interested in learning more about how to use your Mac and make travel easier, just hit that registration code. It's free. I want you to learn more about how to do these things.
Excellent.
Right.
The link is also in the chat for anybody who hasn't registered yet. There's hundreds of people that are registered. It's crazy. It's going to be big. It's going to be fun. So
somebody in the chat said, how do I scan a QR code while I'm watching on an iPhone? And the answer is click the link in the chat instead when you're ready.
Yep.
If you're watching on an iPhone, you can't easily scan the QR code from there. But that's why we put the link in the chat. So that's for you, Lynn. Frank.
Yeah.
Let's stop talking. Let's get into our lesson. Pull that screen up for me.
We're obviously doing a Mac, right? Let's get you a computer going.
Mac all the time. All right. Welcome to my Finder. First question you should be asking is, what is the Finder and why should I care? And the answer is, computers don't speak the same language that we do. They speak this crazy complicated language of zeros and ones, and everything's built out of a 2-digit language. Unless you are a master of zeros and ones, you don't understand how to speak the binary language. But the Finder does. In fact, the Finder is bilingual. It can speak the binary language, and it can also turn it into pretty pictures and images that we can drag around, click on and open up, look into. All of these separate pieces that are a big part of what we do on the computer every day. So what is the Finder? The Finder is the world's greatest computer to English translator. He speaks in pictures, and he makes it so that when you want to go to a folder, it looks like a folder. And if you want to work on a document, it looks like a document. Things look like what we expect them to look like in the real world. Now, we've been on computers for a really long time, so we don't think about that. But for any of us that are old enough to remember before the Mac, before Windows 95, yeah, I'm that old. I am that old. If you can step back in time, you'll remember that there was a time that there weren't pretty pictures and there weren't mice that you could use to control things, and everything was done with keyboard commands and prompts. And oh, thank God the Finder's here. So now that we understand that this is the translator that makes our computer accessible to us, it means that it's something we can click on and work with. How do we do that? What are the elements of the Finder that make it easy for us to do that? So we're going to start with element number one. Your desktop is part of the Finder. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. I thought my desktop was my desktop. No, your desktop is a part of the Finder. Anytime you're looking at images that look like folders and that look like documents, you're usually in the Finder. So we spend a lot of time on our desktop, which is part of the Finder, but we also use Finder windows to navigate around. The Finder is this little blue funny-faced icon that's on the bottom left of your dock. It's always on the dock. It's always running. You should know that at the bottom of the dock, there's these little indicator dots that tell you when a program is open. The Finder is always open. If the Finder is not open, your computer's got an issue. I'm going to click on this Finder icon, and the most magical thing's going to happen. It's going to give me a window that I can use to explore around my computer. Finder windows are broken down into a couple of different components. On the left side, we've got what's called the sidebar. And the sidebar has separate sections, including a section called Favorites, which is fully customizable, a section called Locations, which is where you'll probably find things like iCloud and Google Drive and Dropbox and hard drives that you plug in. And also at the bottom, a section called Tags, which can help you organize and categorize all of your files. We've also got across the top of the Finder window, we've got a toolbar. And this toolbar has a lot of elements that we're going to use regularly. Most notably, there are 4 different ways you can view your folders. Let me resize this window so I can see it a little better. There we go. Okay. So I'm currently pointed to my desktop, and we can tell because on the left side of this Finder window, that's what's blue. That's what's selected. To the right of that, this thing that we see here, that is my desktop. And we can tell it's my desktop because up at the top, it says desktop. Now, if I were to open up all of these piles that I've got on my desk, they call them stacks. If I were to open all of them up and we were to look at them, you would realize that all of these files and all of these files are the same thing. The Finder is showing me my desktop folder, but it's also showing me the desktop folder visually as part of my desktop. And that's kind of the magic of both the Finder and the desktop and how they work together. So when you're working in the Finder, there are 4 basic views that you can use to explore things. The first one is this view up at the top that's called the icon view. Shows big pictures, not a lot of organization, but really big pictures, which makes it easy to see things. If you've got your status bar turned on, you'll have a little slider on the right that lets you make those bigger or smaller. If you don't have your status bar turned on, turn it on. Come under the View menu up here and choose where it says Show Status Bar. The status bar is super helpful because it tells you how many items are in the folder you're looking at, how much available storage space is on the hard drive or cloud storage that you're working with. And in the case of the icon view, it also gives us the ability to resize our icons. Moving one over to the right, we've got the list view. The list view is the most common view that people use, and people use it all the time. And some people have never, ever explored any other view. This is the view that existed in Windows 95 and in the first version of Mac OS. And this has been around for 25 years. Why? Because it's simple. It gives us these linear columns that we can use to quickly organize and sort things. We don't have to guess what order something is in. If we're clicked on One section, it's going to be the names. Now, right at the moment, it says folders. That's because I've got something called grouping turned on. I'm going to turn that off for a moment. Now, on the far left column, we've got name or date modified or size or date added. And we can customize what shows up in these columns. The list view is helpful because it's super organized. Everything's just in one linear path. But there's some problems with the list view. And the problems really happen. Are you going to make it hard for me to get into here? Come on. Okay, I won't use that folder then. How my life works. If you want to play my game, I'll play a different game. When you're working in the list view, there's two ways to open folders. The first way is to double click on it, which gets you away from where you were and into the new folder, which is a pain in the butt when you're doing filing because you're going to be like, I'm in here. No, let me go back to where I was. I'm in here. No, let me go back to where I was. Or you can open folders by hitting the little arrow to the left, which drops them down, which is fine, provided you don't have a ton of things that suddenly just pop up. Now you can see for me, it's more or less linear. There's not that much here. But as you continue to open things up, it becomes very complicated to know where a certain file is. For example, is this file in my documents folder? No, it's in the PDF samples folder that's in the documents folder. Is this in the documents folder? No, that's in the email analysis folder that's in the documents folder that's inside the documents folder. When you're looking at it in list view, opening up the folders is necessary and really confusing in the long run. It can make it very difficult to find your way around. The third view is called the column view. I live by the column view. I'm in this view 98% of the time. I like it because it allows me to see inside of a folder and outside of a folder at the exact same time. So if I come into my desktop here and we come into the column view and I click on, let's find a folder that's worth clicking on, this one here, my Smart Guides folder. When I click on that to the right, I see the separate Smart Guides. And if I click on one of these folders to the right of that, I see additional Smart Guides. And if I click on one of these Smart Guides, I see information about it right here. If this needed to be filed somewhere, I could immediately take it and file it anywhere I want without having to open 12 different windows or different Finder windows or move things around. The column view makes it super easy to organize things because you can see inside and outside of a folder at the exact same time. And the last view is called the gallery view. And the gallery view is meant for looking at images, but it also works for specific documents. Essentially, it shows you the contents of the folder down below, and as you click or use your arrows to move between them, it shows a large version of whatever document or image you're looking at right on the screen. The gallery view is great when you're trying to find something and you'll know it by sight. Like I know what it looks like, but I don't know what it's called. Coming in allows you to very quickly scroll through things and be like, oh, there's that document. That's what I was looking for. I forgot what I called it. There's one other thing we're going to talk about within the Finder, and then we're going to step back with Frank for just a moment here. The other thing to be really aware of within a Finder window is a tool called Quick Look. Quick Look is not new, and people still aren't using it. It's one of these like, oh my God, that solves so many problems. Why don't people use it more? Here's the issue. When you're organizing, moving, filing, or working in the Finder, you're going to stumble across things that you don't remember why you named it that. Like, what is that file? What is this thing here? What is this M series user guide? What is this sincerely me? I don't understand what that is. When you see things that you don't know what the title means, your instinct is going to be to double click on them to open them up. Except sometimes that takes forever. And I don't need to open it and wait for it and sit on it. I just need to take a quick look so I know what it is. Pressing the space bar when you are selected on any item in the Finder will zoom into that document with what is called quick look. And from this zoomed in position, I can explore the document. I go, oh, this is my dad's new novel. That's what that is. Good. To release the quick look, press the space bar again. I don't remember what this image is. Oh, right. That's a picture of my son. Got it. Oh, cool. That's great. What is this screenshot here? Oh, I see what that screenshot's trying to show. What is this document? Oh, that was a fun graphic I created. Rather than opening up applications to see what things are, use Quick Look. Click on something, press the space bar. Look at it. When you're done, press the space bar again. If you start using Quick Look from Finder windows or even from the desktop, you will be blown away as to how much faster you can be in and out of projects and how much less time you get consumed by squirrels. Because what happens to most people is that we go into our document, we're like, I'm going to open up this Excel spreadsheet because I need to see what it is. And by the time it opens, Frank, I'm going to get a cup of coffee while I'm waiting. All right, by the time it opens, other things have come up. Now I'm distracted. I'm like, oh, what happens when I click this? What happens when I click this? What happens when I go over here? And the next thing you know, 45 minutes has passed and you still don't know what that document is. Don't waste your time opening things to see what they are. Just take a quick look. And if the title isn't clear enough when you take a quick look, change the title. You don't want to have to quick look at again and again and again. Get smarter about how you title things. So these are two elements of the Finder. We talked about the desktop, and I'm going to share one quick piece on the desktop because I don't think there's time for it later. Most of your desktops look like this. That's probably on a good day, right, Frank? Most people are probably worse than that. I just cleaned this up the other day, so it's pretty clean.
Mine is worse.
But that's still a lot of clutter to look past. The point of the desktop is to get what's next on your to-do list done quickly. It is your sorting station. So if I get to my desktop, I'm like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this over here? Why is this over there? What am I doing here? It's going to be an hour before I start my day. There's a great trick within the Finder for the desktop called Stacks. And to turn it on, you right-click on the desktop and choose where it says Use Stacks. And as soon as you do, it takes all that content and it puts it into Stacks. Here is a stack of all of those documents. If I click on the stack, it opens up. If I click on it again, it closes. Here's a stack of all the images on my desktop. If I click it, it opens it. If I click again, it closes. Here are all the movies that are on my desktop. Here are all the PDFs that are on my desktop. Here are all the spreadsheets that are on my desktop. And for those of you who love taking screenshots, here's all the screenshots on my desktop instead of being scattered everywhere. Stacks allows you to focus on what you're looking at and pretend like you're organized. It really isn't organizing you. It's just pretending. So don't use it as a crutch. Still clean up your desktop periodically, but it can make it so that when I need to get work done, I'm not immediately overwhelmed by all of my tasks and I can get right to business. We got more coming. We talked about the desktop. We talked about Finder windows. There's other pieces coming, but we got some stuff to talk about. Frank, pull us back in our two-shot.
Thanks for a quick look. I didn't know that one. And you reminded me about Stacks. I remember the first time I screen shared with you and you were looking at my desktop. You're like, Frank, let me show you something. I completely forgot about it.
I'm like, Frank, do you mind if I make this easier for you?
Too funny. We got a lot of new people here today.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah. I'm pulling up the chat. While I was closing windows, I accidentally closed out the chat windows. I'm gonna get that back open so I can see who's here. Oh, Jocelyn's here with her red apple, and so is Manny. These are our peeps. I'm ecstatic to have you guys here. I don't want to stay talking too long. I'm going to go back into what I'm teaching, but I want to talk about what we do at the MacWhisperer Academy. One of the things that we're doing regularly is we're bringing information like what you're experiencing today directly to you via YouTube. Unlike a video that's been recorded and sometimes is a little, dry and you're just watching something, this is interactive. You're going to have opportunities to ask questions, to check in with me, to talk to each other. This community is amazing. I mean, seriously, the people that are in this chat right now will solve your problems without you even asking. They're just there to help because we all want to make this easier. You are experiencing a public MacWhisperer live broadcast. Not all of our live broadcasts are public. We're supported by almost, you ready for this number, Frank? Almost 300 amazing supporters and members to our YouTube channel. We're very close to the 300 level. If you're new here and you want to help us get closer, you can hit the join link that Frank just popped up there, but I'll get there in a second. With the MacWhisperer membership through YouTube, for 99 cents a month, you get access to our live broadcasts, including the private ones that we do every single week. For $5, you also get access to the private ones that we do every week, but thank you for the extra cup of coffee. For $10, you get access, but you also get the Smart Guide each week directly on the YouTube page, even if you don't visit or watch the actual class. For the $20 level, you can have all my Smart Guides. I had an email from someone, Frank, and I think I forwarded it to you. He just discovered us this last week, and he downloaded one of the Smart Guides, and his head blew up. Not literally. I mean, he was like, oh my God, this simplifies everything. So he wrote me and he said, do you have more of these? Yeah, I got a lot more of them. And I got more coming. As a matter of fact, we do. If you like what you see, if you like what you're hearing, if you like the lessons that we're doing right now in real time, I strongly recommend you become a member. And I'll encourage you to hit that $20 level if you would like to have complete access to every Smart Guide we build as we build it. And we are building them regularly. These include Smart Guides on how to use your phone, your iPad, your computer, some of the best OS 26 tips, ways to do basic troubleshooting. There's Smart Guides on creativity. I'll show you how to use photos. I'll show you how to use music better. I'll even show you how to work on the Finder easily. In fact, if you don't like taking notes, but you love what we've already talked about, don't worry. We've got a Smart Guide coming for you at the end of this lesson, all about what we talked about today. So you don't even need to take notes. The YouTube membership is what keeps us afloat right now. It's what allows us to focus on the bigger picture projects like this travel workshop and like all of the new YouTube videos that are in the queue and getting ready to be released. I'd love to have you as a member. This is how you sign up. And even the 99-cent level makes a huge difference to what we do here. If you're already a member, thank you. And specifically, thank you for listening to me talk about being a member when you already are. If you aren't a member, this might be the opportunity. Let's simplify your tech together.
Great stuff. I remember when we were hitting 20 and we were like approaching 20. We're like, oh my goodness, people are joining us. It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, 100 was exciting. 200 was really exciting, but that was like a month ago.
I know. It's crazy.
We're moving. Awesome. And I believe that we actually have two brand new members today. One is, looks like Jeff Hawkins and Leslie Shaw. Jeff, Leslie, thank you so much for trusting me with your tech. I won't let you down.
I'm sorry.
Let's get back to the screen share.
I just got to bring this up. Time machine. That's a great idea. Right?
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. There should be. There is a Smart Guide, but it's not up to date, and it should be. And I literally the reason a lot of these videos and Smart Guides happen is because I got tired of explaining to clients how to do the same thing they keep asking me to do. I just explained 3 times this week how to do Time Machine. So,
oh, that's funny.
Canvas, what a perfect suggestion. I will add it to our list. We will get on it right away.
That's one of the things that's so great about our community, right? We get amazing ideas.
Yeah, and we love our community, and we are here for you guys. We're absolutely here for you guys. Let's hop back over. Let's continue our lesson. Okay. So we talked about the desktop and using stacks to keep it clean and to keep it organized. And we talked about clicking on this face to open up a Finder window, which opened up on my wrong monitor. Let's move it back over here. We talked about the different views that we can use within the Finder. But now I want to talk about a somewhat complicated but super important conversation about sorting and grouping. Sorting and grouping are two different concepts that come up in the Finder, and they're both very, very valuable, and they're similar and they can work together, but they're technically different. When you are in the list view, the biggest reason people like the list view is because it's easy to sort. Look, I'm sorted by name. Now I'm sorted by date modified. Now I'm sorted by size. Click on the column, it sorts by that column. If there was no other way to sort on the computer, everybody would use this view because you need to be able to sort. And Frank, maybe that's why everybody uses this view, because they don't know what I'm about to share. I'm going to share it anyways. Within every view of the Finder, you have this icon on the right here, available. This icon allows you to sort or group. So what's the difference? Well, this is one of my big Apple annoyances. I hate that this is one button. This should be two buttons. It should be a sorting button and a grouping button. I got enough space on my toolbar. Give me two buttons. Or do what they did with the views. Notice that when the window gets small, the views get compacted, but I still have access to all of them. So even if I go really small like this, I can still change my view. But for whatever reason, Apple decided to put this sorting grouping tool in one place and not explain it. We're going to start with the concept of grouping. If you click on this icon, you'll notice the little none section at the top. That's your key to know that you're in the grouping side of this icon. Grouping means clump things together based on a specific criteria. So if I said date added, it would take everything on my desktop and it would say, well, this was added today and this was added yesterday. And you'll notice these little separators that separate all of the content. That's my yesterday clump. This is my previous 7 days clump. This is my today clump. These are the things that were added this week or today. And as I move down that list, previous 7 days, previous 30 days, back in October, September, July, March. Holy cow, that document was added in March. I should probably update it. This is a great way to organize a folder because it shows you clumps of all the files rather than everything being on top of itself. I'm going to go back. We're going to group a different way. My favorite way to group is by kind. What that does is it separates all of the content into its own sections. Here are all of my folders, all in one place. I don't have to hunt around. Let me turn off grouping for a second. Where are my folders? They're all over the place. I'm looking for my folders. There's one over here. There's another one up here. If I come in to group by kind, they're my folders. They're all right next to each other. Where are my documents? Oh, they're all right next to each other. What about my images? Oh, they're all right next to each other. My movies next to each other. The music next to each other. The PDFs next to each other. It organized it for me into categories that will allow me to actually move things, find things, and get things done. Let's do one more grouping. I'm going to click on it again. And this time, I'm going to group it by size. You see, I need to clear some space off my hard drive because my hard drive's almost full and I don't want to buy a new computer because my hard drive's full. If I could only identify the largest files in this folder with a single click, that would really help. Size. Boom. Oh, look, these are your biggest files. They're up at the top. They're somewhere between 1 gigabyte and 10 gigabytes. If you moved those things alone off, you'd have 20 gigabytes of storage space and you wouldn't have a problem. Huh? This is how easy it is when you know how to use the Finder to group things in an appropriate way for what you're trying to do. I'm now going to come over to the grouping tool and I'm going to turn it off. The next piece of this is sorting. Sorting is a way easier concept. It means put things in a certain order. Well, what order, Dylan? I don't know. The order of the alphabet, the order of how big things are, the order of when I last worked on that document. Any of those sorts will work. We know that if we're in this view, I can change the sort by clicking on the columns. We know that when I'm in other views, I can click here to do grouping. But Dylan said there's a way to sort from the Finder too. Huh. Once again, one of my biggest Apple complaints of all. This button is also the sort button. It's not just grouping, it's also sorting. But in order to trigger the sort button, I don't know what engineer decided this was the way to do it, but honestly, if I meet him, I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to punch him in the gut. This is so stupid. You're just going to have to remember it. This icon is a grouping icon when you click on it normally. If you hold the Option button down on your keyboard, it becomes a sorting icon. You can tell the difference between sorting and grouping because there is no none section in sorting. You will always be sorted somehow. There is no way to say don't sort it at all, which means if I see none, I'm in grouping. If I don't see none, I'm in sorting. Now, it is currently sorted by name, which means it's alphabetical, which is fine, but I want to see what I worked on most recently. So I'm going to sort it by date modified. And immediately I can see, oh, I added something in this folder right before this call. Oh, this is the thing I was working on this morning. Oh, that's the screenshot I took the other day while I was working on this project. Oh, here's this other screenshot. By sorting by date modified, you see the things you've worked on most recently up at the top. I'm going to hold my Option button down again and curse that engineer because every time I do it, I think it's stupid. But you're just going to have to learn it because it's super valuable. So hold down the Option button, click on that tool, and this time I'm going to sort by date added. This means the stuff I added to my computer most recently will be up at the top. That was just added earlier. I can come and I can find out exactly when it was added if I look through the information on the right side, but I don't really care. I'm going to Option click back to sorting, and now I'm going to sort it by size. This shows me my largest files at my top and the smallest files down below. Folders don't technically count because they're counted differently with size, so it kind of ignores them, but you can see that now we're in a better organization. Okay. The power tip for this concept is to fold them both together. Together, grouping and sorting simplifies everything. The more complicated the folder is, the more this is going to help. So I'm going to not hold the Option button and click here. Notice it says none, so I know I'm in grouping, and I'm going to group it by kind. And then I'm going to hold my Option button down and click on it again, and this time I'm going to sort it by name. This means that every different kind of a document or file is grouped together, and then within that, it's alphabetical. This means I can go into the images and find the exact image I want by using the power of the alphabet. This means that my PDFs aren't intermingled with everything else, and I can see things clearly and easily to get to whatever I want. Now, this is not the most disastrous folder you've ever seen. It's got 47 things on it. I guarantee you, when you start looking through your Finder, you're going to find a file that has 6, 7, 8, 9,000 items in it. And you're going to go, how am I ever going to find what I'm looking for? And that's when I want you to go into grouping, turn something on like group by kind, and then go into sorting and use it the alphabet or date added or size to find what you want. There is no easier way to clear up the confusion and chaos of a messy folder than using this tool. I'm going to see if I have a folder that's messy enough that I could actually, you can see I keep my stuff pretty cleaned up and pretty organized. Even my to sort folders only got 20 items in it because I sort them. But you find that folder that is a chaotic mess, use grouping, and it'll completely change how you think about chaotic messes. Here's a good example. This is my iCloud Drive, which is messy intentionally. Let's fix it. I'm going to group it by kind. Oh, I grouped it wrong. I'm going to group it by kind. All the folders are now next to each other. Option click, sort by name. All of my folders are in one place. Here are some documents. Here are some images, movies, and PDFs. This means that I can now start filing these separate items because the PDFs are all together, the music is together, the images are together, the documents are together, the folders are together. Grouping and sorting, when combined properly, is a game changer. Okay. I'm going to step aside from that for just a moment. And Frank, why don't we come back to our two-shot? Let's talk about the Academy for just a moment. We'll come right back in here.
Good idea.
I thought so.
Yeah. Let's bring up the Academy scene.
Boom. Make it happen.
I lost it.
I love when I throw him off. I'm going to start talking while he's finding that because I don't need the visuals. I know what it is. There he goes. I've been teaching people how to use their technology for over 25 years. In that time, I have seen every problem, every device, every issue, and every kind of person that struggles with tech. I used to think that everybody was different and I had to handhold each person individually in order to solve their problems. And then I learned I was wrong. You don't know it, but most of you have the same question. You don't know it, but if I gave the right foundation block, it would solve most of your issues. Rather than doing it one at a time, I've got a mission to help millions and millions and millions of people learn to love their technology and use it appropriately. Use it to create time instead of waste time. Wasting time's not a bad thing, but your technology was built to give you time back, not so that you could flip through Netflix for the next 26 years of your life until you waste away. As a result, I built the MacWhisperer Academy to fulfill my mission of taking people away from a fear of technology and into a place where they're using technology to better their relationships with the people around them. And in proof of that mission, the community that's been created by the MacWhisperer Academy is one of the most supportive communities I've ever been a part of. What we do on YouTube is amazing. We're going to give you great lessons. We're going to do it for an hour. We're going to throw some other things into it, but I can't see you and I can't communicate with you directly outside of chat. At the MacWhisperer Academy, it's like stepping into a class with an amazing teacher and an amazing group of students who are all on the same page working together. We cover topics like how to use notes, how to use reminders, how to get organized, how to clean out your email. But we also have a hell of a lot of fun. Our next classes will be starting in December. We're done with classes for November. The classes are 2 hours each. There are 2 of them per month. It is a $100 membership. It also comes with a question and answer hour every 2 weeks that you can come and bring any question to. Starting in December, we have a class on how to manage the holidays properly using reminders and Safari. And if you've never used Safari tab groups, you're missing out. We can organize your entire gift list easily. You can share it with anyone, collaborate easily, and find that perfect gift in a click. Super simple. And then we're going to be finishing out this year with one of my favorite topics. I am going to teach you how to accomplish the biggest things on your to-do list simply. What am I talking about, Frank? Those big things? Let me tell you big things. I want to write a book. I want to travel the world. I've got this great idea for an app. I'm learning how to play guitar. All of these statements are true Dylan Stewart statements. These are true dreams and wishes that I have. and I will accomplish all of them because big tasks are not complicated when you have the right tools. And Frank and I have the right tools. So if any of that is interesting to you, hit this QR code or the link that Frank put into the chat. This will change how you feel about your technology forever. It's a guarantee. That one I can guarantee. The MacWhisper Academy is a piece of what we're teaching here, and it's important to use this opportunity to tie in the workshop. Because if you want to stick your toe in the water without signing up for a subscription, the workshop on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Frank, pull up that slide if you would.
Sure.
The travel workshop on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the closest you will get to what it's like being in class with me without opening up your wallet. So if you're curious, if you've been triggered on like all the things we're talking about, hit the QR code, hit the link, join us at the workshop this weekend, get some MacWhisper in your life. Each session is 1 hour. We will be doing 12 to 1 o'clock Pacific time. The first day is what to do before you travel. The second day is what to do when you're traveling. The third day is what to do when you get home. Each will be an hour and it will be jammed. Not just jammed with great information, jammed with giveaways, jammed with other information, jammed with tools that will help you immediately.
And the replays. So just register.
And the replays, yeah.
You can watch it whenever you want. Even if you can't make it live, register so you get the replays. There's a bunch of people that have become members, YouTube members. Mike is one of the few that just announced that he became one. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. You're awesome. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. This is fun. The Academy and the Zoom classroom is amazing because people get to step up on camera, ask questions, a lot more interaction here. We're kind of removed, but I love the Academy and the Zoom classrooms.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. I got one more thing. I got one more thing when you're ready. I know we're close on time.
Yeah, I know it's 15 minutes already. What do you got?
But I got one last piece. Send me back over the computer. Yeah. Okay. All right. Everything I talked about today is a part of the new to Mac Basics Master course that I'm building that will be released at the end of Sunday, at the end of our workshop. So if you like the little things that I'm talking about, there's a lot more where that came from. And I'm really proud of this course. I don't make courses that often because I'd rather work with people in real time. But this course needed to get made. There's too many people who don't know how to use their Mac efficiently, and I can help. And so if you want more of what we've got here, come to the workshop. We'll talk about the Mac Basics Masterclass, and you can take it to the next level. I am going to teach one last piece. For clarity, I could run this class for 3 or 4 hours. There is so much to talk about with the Finder. It could take me forever. One last piece. But this last piece is really, really important. I know that you can't find the stuff on your computer. I know you can't. I know you can't. I know that the only way that you locate anything quickly is by searching for it. You are part of the Google generation who believes that as long as I can search for it, who needs to be organized? One day that generation will have a very rude awakening when they realize without help, you can't find anything. The way most people search on the Mac is by using the spotlight icon that shows up in the menu bar on the top right corner. I'm going to actually grab my annotator so I can make sure you see what I'm talking about. Oh, and of course it disappeared right as I did that. Thanks, Mac. Thanks for being complicated. There it is right there. That is the spotlight magnifying glass. And if that is the only way that you know how to find things, I'm going to teach you 2 things in rapid succession. Clicking on Spotlight does what's called a global search. So if I search for any word, like the word Bengal, if I can spell it right, Bengal, Bengal is a breed of cat. I happen to have a couple of Bengal cats. I'm a big fan of this breed. I want to find a document I created about Bengal cats. It's somewhere on my computer. So when I go into the Spotlight search, notice what's right up at the top? An NFL football team. Frank, do I like football?
You do not.
I do not like football. And that's not a problem. You guys can love football. But why is the first result for a file I'm looking for that I know is on my computer about a football team? Weird. If I keep scrolling, I can see websites that I went to once, notes, other websites. Oh, scores on a Bengals game. I just want this document that I created. I can find JavaScript. I can find photographs and articles from Sports Illustrated. I just want this stupid document. You're searching wrong. You guys are all doing it and you're searching wrong, and it takes too long to do it. When you are doing a search with Spotlight, the global search gives too many results. You have two options to fix that. You used to only have one option, but thank Mac for Mac OS 26, because now you got a second option and it's almost as good as the first one. The first option is, rather than using the search in Spotlight, which is global and includes websites and apps and whatever, if you know it's a file on your computer, search from the Finder window. I'm going to do Bengal right here. It's going to be like, hey, I can't find anything, Dylan. And of course, it still hasn't found what I'm looking for, which is a touch annoying because I know it's here. But that's the idea, that at least you're focusing in on the documents that you actually have on your computer. And the second way to do it is, when you come into Spotlight, you're going to notice, for reference, you have to be on OS 26 for this to happen. So if you're not on OS 26, don't call me and say, why doesn't mine look like that? And if you don't know what OS 26 is, Apple releases new operating systems every year. This year's release from September is called Mac OS 26, and it's got some really powerful tools. One of which is, when I come into Spotlight, instead of a singular global Spotlight, I've got a Spotlight application search, a Spotlight file search, a Spotlight action search, and a Spotlight clipboard search, all of which is cool. But I want to talk about the files thing, because if you know that it's a file, it's so funny. I know what I'm looking for, and I'm like 99% sure I put it on the other computer I was filming a video for. So that's why I'm not finding it. So I'm going to pull up something different just as an example. If you pull up this version of Spotlight, it only looks on your computer. It's not going to tell me about websites. It's not going to tell me about sports teams I don't care about. It's not going to give me calendar appointments or photo images or things like that. It's going to be more linear and focused. And you also have the ability across the top to filter it. So if I know that it's a Microsoft Word document, well, shoot, that's almost too easy. If I know that it's a contact, oh, there it is right there. Stop using global Spotlight search to find something that's right in front of you. Either use your Finder, boom, search button right there, or when you come into Spotlight, instead of just typing within the global search, move your cursor over and click on the little folder icon, and now it will search your hard drive instead of the entire universe. That tip alone, if you take it in, is going to save you 100 hours this year. 100 hours, because instead of searching and hunting, you're finding and locating. Searching is great. Finding is better. Frank, let's go back into our room.
Not a
Did I lose
problem.
you?
Nope.
No, there he is.
No, I was reading some of the chat.
All right. We are right up against time. So I'm going to recommend that we drop our smart guide now, and then I will give us 10 minutes of questions. If anyone has a burning question, I'm happy to stay for 10 minutes.
We didn't even we didn't even show for people that aren't aware of smart guides what they are. So
Well, now they're going to see them.
Let's give people an idea what this looks like.
Smart guides are a simple visual document that takes complicated concepts and breaks them down into images that let you know what certain things mean, how to do certain tasks, and how to make your, in this case, Finder work. Not that much work, simple, easy. Everything we talked about today, and then some, is in this smart guide. And there's lots of other smart guides where this one came from. But this one is today's, and it's yours. I'll say one thing which we have not yet explained. If you use the QR code to get to this smart guide, it will not download it. It will open it up in Safari. From Safari, don't forget to click the share button to put it somewhere. You can put it on your desktop. You can put it in files. You can put it in notes. Don't put it in notes. It's not the right place for it. Or you can put it in Apple Books, which is where we recommend you store your smart guides. But don't just click the QR code and then wonder where it went later. All you're doing is opening a web page. You still need to download it.
Excellent.
Yes, Diane, we are having way too much fun. I absolutely love what we get to do here. And it's not work even when it's hard. So thanks for seeing that.
So true. Yeah, I'm glad it shows through. Okay.
Awesome.
I've got the link in there for everybody.
Let's take some questions when you're ready.
Yeah, sure. I love this. Can't beat Manny. But I got a chuckle out of this one. Do you think the Finder will ever come out with an iPad Pro? Or come to the iPad Pro?
I wish. What I really wish, and I've been wishing it for a long time, Manny, and you and I have talked a little bit about it. What I really, really wish, incidentally, Manny is my first YouTube member. And he is here to help. And he's been here from day one. And here's what I wish. I wish that Apple would stop beating around the bush and would just make the iPad a Mac already. The only thing we need, the iPad functionality is fine. What I want is a keyboard case that when it's set in the keyboard case, it operates like a Mac with a Finder, with a menu bar, with the ability to plug into multiple monitors, with all of the Mac tools. And then when you take the screen off, it becomes an iPad using the iPad operating system, which is simpler and lighter to work with. I want both. And eventually they'll get there, but they're going to wait until the dead last minute. I've been predicting this for 15 years. We still don't have a touchscreen Mac. We had touchscreen PCs like in 93. Why don't we have a touchscreen Mac? Because if you had a Mac that you could touch the screen of, you'd never buy an iPad. Right? And if the iPad was a computer and had the Finder and all the other features, you'd never need a Mac. So they will come together when Apple can no longer sell both of them to us. Then they will merge. As long as there's one person who's saying, I want an iPad and a computer, they'll keep selling us iPads that don't have a Finder and computers you can't touch the screen of. Sorry, that's just profits. Let's go for another question, if you will.
Yeah, sure. Diane asks a question. Does grouping and sorting only work for desktop?
No.
She thinks that.
Everywhere on the Finder, everything we talked about today, with the exception of stacks, is a universal Finder tool. You can take a Finder window and point it to any folder on your computer, Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud, desktop documents, home folders, pictures folder, it does not matter. The sorting and grouping tools are a part of the Finder, and they're there to help you whatever you point the finder to. And for clarity, the finder can be pointed to everything, to everything. It is the base level of your computer. By giving us sorting and grouping tools on the base level, it means we can sort and group everywhere easily.
What sorting? All
I'm
columns.
gonna try and read that out. Let me give me a second here.
Yeah.
What sorting? All columns are sorted groups. How about Ruggers? You're going to have to type that up a little bit clearer for me. I'm not sure of the question. I don't want to waste my time answering it wrong. This is a case where if you were in the MacWhisperer Academy, I'd pull you up on the screen and I'd say, ask me that again so I understand it. And then I'd give you an answer, but I can't do that here. Sorry.
Yep. Nope. Not really that many other questions, just a lot of statements and a lot of rah-rah from our community, which is great to see. Anybody who's brand new, this is what it's all about. I mean, and a lot of questions were answered by the community that people were asking. So it's great stuff.
So what I'm going to ask the question that I ask pretty much every client before we get started. I'll sit down with the client. I had a client appointment earlier right before this workshop, and she had a laundry list of 12,000 things she wanted to fix and get done and get organized. And there's all these things going on. And I said to her this question: what is the single biggest pain and frustration point that's preventing you from getting what you want to do done? What is the single biggest pain or frustration point that is preventing you from getting what you want to do done? When you answer that question and share it with me, I'll help you get that thing you want to get done faster. Because whatever that frustration is, I can fix it. And with this client, we just spoke to this morning, the frustration was she learns all sorts of things from me in the classes that we take, but she doesn't know how to recall that information easily and quickly. So we spent half of our lesson cleaning up her notes app and taking lessons that had been scattered other places in her computer and putting them in notes, so the next time she wants to know how to organize her reminders, she goes to notes and says, how do I organize reminders? And it pops right up. The solution to your problems is inside that question. What is the barrier that's in the way? Let's discover it. Let's eliminate it. I could stay all day. I could stay forever. I love doing this stuff. I have a great passion for it, but I also have a master class I'm trying to finish up today and a workshop this weekend and a baby on the way and 7 or 8 other things going on. So I'm going to take this time and I'm going to get my big projects moving forward. But I encourage every one of you to ask that question and then bring your answers to the workshop or the academy so that I can put you on the right path to get in the right direction. Get those dreams accomplished. Get them off that to-do list. I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer. It is my joy and pleasure to share my wisdom and love and affinity for Apple products with all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking good questions and participating. Thank you for being a member, if you are a member. And if you're not, thanks for being here anyways.
Show up on
Frank.
Show up this weekend. Bring a friend.
Yeah.
Workshop's going to be a blast.
Bring the friend that drives you crazy when you travel with them. That one. The one who does not know where their ticket is as they're walking through the security line. Right? The one who brought 47 bags and still doesn't have a charging cable for their phone and needs to take yours. That friend. We're going to help it. Yes. Please join us. We'd love to see you. Frank, thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping this boat rowing in the right direction. It allows me to focus on all the other pieces, and it wouldn't be nearly as much fun without you here with me. So thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you a week from Thursday in our next, is our next one what is a week from Thursday? It's not the end of...
It's another public because it's the first Thursday
My
of the month.
goodness.
Yes.
Wow. You lucky guys get a second public a week from Thursday. Join us for our next public video. We're doing the journal app, the new journal app.
On the iPad, Manny.
Just for Manny.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys.
Happy
See you
holiday,
next
everybody.
time.
All right, take it easy.